TikTok compilation that might wake you up and change your reality. Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Apple has just announced some genuinely insane new features coming to iOS 18. So here's the ones you need to know about. Now, the biggest upgrades have to do with AI, but as punishment for Apple trying to make AI stand for Apple Intelligence, we're gonna talk about that last. First up is eye tracking. Yes, you heard that right. Similar to the Vision Pro, your front-facing camera will now allow you to use your phone with your eyes because it tracks them. Motion sickness may be a thing of the past because now when you're looking down at your phone in, let's say, a car, animated dots will appear overlaid on your screen and match the movement that you're experiencing. This interrupts that sensory conflict between what you see and what you feel, which is what often causes motion sickness in the first place. Home screen customization got a massive upgrade, meaning you can now not only arrange your apps anywhere you want, even leaving cheeky little empty spaces, but you can also change the color of the app icons. You can pay friends back just by tapping each other's phones without the need for numbers or emails. You will finally be able to schedule a text message to send later. You can react to them with any emoji you want. You can send messages via satellite. That's a dub. For the sus ones out there, you can now choose to lock any app and even hide them. You can create your own emojis and entire pictures using AI. And speaking of AI, they went crazy on this one. So after about 13 years, we are now getting major updates to that Siri. And here's the best way to explain the upgrade. Before, you were just dating. Now, you're married and Siri has moved in, meaning you have never used AI like this before because unlike other AI models like ChatGPT, Siri is deeply personal and has access to everything on your phone. And because Siri knows where you live, who your friends are, reads all of your texts and emails, can see every photo on your phone, the actions it can take on your behalf is unprecedented. You could say, bring up the photo of Stacy when we were in New York and when she was holding that umbrella. Then edit it to make it pop and then post it on Instagram. Or add this photo to that email thread I have with John. Or play that podcast my wife sent to me the other week. Or bring up my last web page on Safari and then summarize it for me. Honestly, the examples I can give you are endless. All I can say is this will be the most personal AI you will have ever used. Oh, and because you're newlyweds, Siri got her hair did and has got a new look, replacing the old bubble. Only catch to all of this is that unfortunately, at least at the start, all of the AI features will only be available on the 15 Pro, but all of the other features will be on every other phone. And that is pretty much everything. So the question is, did Tim cook or is Tim cooked?
This is scary and awesome at the same time. I have iPhone and Android, and I think Android already has all of this for years, except, the AI stuff. But would you get this phone? Drop a comment, please.
Changing the way you do math with a feature we call Math Notes. Let's see it in action with Jenny.
Okay, let's see Math Notes.
I'm so excited to show you the new Math Notes experience. I get to it by just tapping the new calculator button right here. And with my Apple Pencil, I'll just start writing out expressions like I would on a piece of paper. As soon as I write an equal sign, calculator immediately solves it for me. And even shows me the results in handwriting like my own. When I make a change, the results update live. And I can go beyond basic math with all of the same functions from the scientific calculator.
Oh my gosh!
I can save my math notes and come back to them later if I'm working on different things. Like here, where I'm working on a budget for my team's upcoming table tennis tournament.
Nah!
Since I'm in Math Notes, I can sum these costs quickly by just drawing a line underneath them.
No chance.
It's so natural. Math Notes are also really powerful when it comes to more complex math. Here, I have a physics problem my teammate and I are working on. We're calculating the maximum height of a table tennis ball when I hit it with different speeds and angles. Math Notes supports variables, so I've declared a few here, and there's an expression below, which uses these variables to help me calculate the height.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine you just graduated engineering and they release this.
This cryptid here and this documentation, which a field camera was used, it was seen in an area, and a colleague of mine from a major university set up a field camera, and this is what they got. Now, this is known as a rock person or rock people. They can eat rock. They're found around cliffs, large boulders. They are real. and other colleagues of mine from some major universities,
No.
we testify that this is a real documentation. This is a rock person indeed.
Didn't the rock people all disappear after they were covered with paper?
I hate to be the one to say it, but the universe doesn't actually look like this, or this even. No one is going to argue with you that space photography has come a long way in the last 80 years. The first photo ever taken in space was this, in 1946, at 65 miles up, just above the beginning of outer space. Now, we get pictures like this, almost monthly it seems, showing us these beautiful, colorful images of the universe around us. But there's one problem. When satellites like the James Webb Telescope are taking these pictures, they're capturing light across different wavelengths, including infrared, ultraviolet, or X-ray, which aren't visible to the human eye. NASA will then go in, assigning color to these different wavelengths to highlight specific features and structures for the viewer. This process, known as false coloring, allows them to reveal details in space that would otherwise be invisible if you were actually up there.
So what does it look like then? The Umbrella Corporation is real? Man, this zombie apocalypse better not have the running zombies. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, look at that.
Imagine that you see one of these 8 people at the end of a very dark corridor and they're coming towards you. Which one are you most scared of? Think wisely because your choice says a lot more about you than you think. This is a zombie test and it's not your usual personality quiz. It was developed by a Hungarian psychiatrist in 1935 and it's supposed to test the dark and deep secrets of your subconscious. This test is based on a theory that people who we have strong negative reactions to represent the parts of ourselves that we have rejected or suppressed. So whoever it is that you chose will show hidden parts of your personality. If you have chosen the first person, that's the sadist. That means that you might not like people who try to control or bully others because you've seen too much of that behavior from adults when you were younger. And even though you're usually very nice, deep down you might feel a little happy when someone who's mean gets the taste of their own medicine. You're usually very calm and helpful, but if someone tries to push you around, you might react in a sneaky way to get back at them without being obvious. If you have chosen person number 2, that's the epileptic. That means that you probably don't like showing when you're angry or upset because you were taught that it's not really nice to have these feelings. You're usually very quiet and friendly, but if things get a little bit too much, you might suddenly burst out of anger, which might surprise certain people who think that you're very calm. You keep your cool most of the time, but sometimes your anger comes out all at once when you're really stressed. If you have chosen the third person, that's the catatonic. That means that you're very smart and you have a lot going on in your mind, which is why it makes you stick closely to rules and routines. You might not really notice when you or someone else needs a break. You like to stick to your own ways and you're uncomfortable with unpredictability. Go to part 2 for the rest.
The Barnum effect is a common physiological phenomenon whereby individuals give high accuracy ratings to descriptions of their personality, that supposedly are tailored specifically to them. But which one did you choose?
I think I figured out how Randonautica works and how it can take people to like crime scenes and weird places. And if you don't know what this app is, it's basically an app where you can download it and it's supposed to take you to a random place when you set an intention. So you'll open up the app, let's say you put like something scary and it's supposed to take you to somewhere scary, or let's say you want to put somewhere like love and it will take you to somewhere where you will find love. Now logically it just sounds stupid, but if you look into some cases it makes no sense. Pretty sure you already heard of the teenagers that went to the beach and they found 2 unalive people stuffed in a suitcase and it was the exact location. I also heard a story that a girl said she wanted to go somewhere scary, so it took her to an abandoned farmhouse. But the thing was, it was at nighttime and there was a random man just standing there by the door just for no reason. Another group of people also put scary and it took them to an abandoned house. But when they went there, they just heard like screams of agony. It wouldn't stop and they heard like this whirring machine sound. It kind of sounded like a chainsaw. Now this is what I think is happening. I believe that there's people behind the scenes actually placing like the locations for people to go. That situation we just talked about, the girl and she went to an abandoned farmhouse and there was a dude standing there. I feel like that was like a human trafficking scheme. The kids that found the suitcase, I feel like someone put the location for the suitcase so it could be found.
The developers used to be on this app when it first released, and he explained exactly how it worked. GPS technology and quantum mechanics. Science stronger than fiction.
The world's highest cliff-hanging road, perched 1,820 meters above the valley. Here, if a car slips off, it's not just an accident, it's a catastrophe. Taking photos here isn't photography, it's aerial photography. Driving along it feels like soaring through clouds and mist. This perilously stunning road is the highest cliff-hanging road globally, located in Kunning's Lukan-Iguishan Township. To the left lies Liangshan, to the right, Dongshuan. From a distance, the road looks like a thin line snaking along the mountain ridge, clinging to sheer cliffs, seemingly on the verge of collapse. Beside it, there are sheer cliffs and abysses, with clouds and mist swirling everywhere. Driving on it feels like the car could soar into the sky in the next moment, leaving you dizzy and weak-kneed. If you're seeking a dose of madness and excitement, why not take a stroll on the Snow Mountain cliff-hanging road?
Oh my goodness. Wow, it's one-way road too? It's in China, but the question is, who's the contractor of that road and how they build it?
Contact approach 78445. I'm having engine issues out here.
78445, say again, you're having issues with your engine?
Yes, issues with the engine.
Country 8193, Bradley, ground. Roger, there's Robertson, 12 to 1 o'clock in about 10 miles. Are you able to maintain altitude?
Negative, engine is off.
45, nearest airport, about 3 o'clock and 5 miles. It's Waterbury Airport.
I'm a student pilot solo, and I am panicking. 78445.
78445, Roger. Just stay calm, and tell me if you can see the airport. It's about 2 o'clock and 5 miles now. That's your closest airport.
Negative, I do not have airport in sight. 78445.
78445. So just starting to make your way to that airport. Trim out for best glide. It's about 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock and about 5 miles. 180, about 10 miles behind you, student pilot solo, lost an engine. They're at 4,700 feet.
You want to try to guide them into airport 122?
180, if you'd like to assist, it's up to you. 445, 5 miles southwest of you now. It's a grass strip.
Can you advise on a heading for that, please? 78445.
445, so just heading 210. You're right above it right now. It should be right below you, grass strip, 2,000 foot. It's a 1735 runway. Or 445. It appears you're going past it right now. Suggest you turn right, heading 020.
Turning right.
And 445, it should be out your right window when you turn. I've shown you about a half mile just southwest of it. So turn right, heading 050 suggested. It should be off your right side. You're just slightly above it and west of it.
Roger, I have it in sight. 78445.
78445, very good. Set up as you need, and let us know if you need anything.
Can you please contact Poughkeepsie Tower?
445, we will. Poughkeepsie Tower, no problem. And 445, you're doing great. Keep it in sight and keep going.
All right, 445, this is 12180. Do you have any questions? I got you in sight. I'm right above you. Let me know.
Roger, thank you. 78445.
All right, 445, I would join it downwind right now. So start, and then right base from there. So I would, what's your altitude right now? 445? All right, yeah, so start heading to the airport right now. Pitch your best glide, Turn right now for the airport. I've approached 121, 1280. That plane just went down in the trees short of the runways.
180, Roger, appreciate the help.
You got almost.
Appreciate the help. If you can help any indication of exactly where they are, I'd appreciate it. Can you see anything else that would help?
Brother, I just got contact with that plane. Up.
Was there any fire? November 12180, was there any fire?
Did you go again for 122? It came in broken.
No, 180, was there any fire?
Negative fire, 122.
Awesome job by the student pilot. I ran to Google for an update. She made it through and no one on the ground was injured.
Happen if you ate 4 eggs per day. Well, we know that eggs are high in protein and have a high biological value of 94, meaning it's highly absorbed, utilized in the body in the type of protein that it is. Now, 4 eggs will give you 24 grams of protein, 20 grams of fat, and selenium at 112% of your daily needs. Great for your thyroid health. Vitamin B2 for your energy levels at 80% of your daily needs. Vitamin A, fantastic for eye health, but also helping to lubricate your eyes to maintain that moisture in your eyes at 32% of your daily needs for that vitamin A. Now we know because of all that protein in eggs, it's very satiating, helping to keep you feel full. It helps with weight loss, but also with gain of muscle as well. And eggs are budget friendly for most people. Always look for a pasture raised egg. And if you've got your own chickens, all the better.
Who remembers growing up hearing eggs were bad for your cholesterol?
I'm breaking my fast after 86 hours. I've got some scrambled eggs and some beef liver. The eggs are scrambled in some salt and butter. And that's it. You know, somebody says, oh, you know, you got to eat bone broth, you got to eat all of that. I've done 120 hours, I had bone broth afterwards. But this, it's only 86. But the thing is, imagine our ancestors were hunter-gatherers. If you haven't eaten for 4 days, you eat whatever you find, not something that, you know, cooked some bone broth and all of that. This is what I like to eat after this type of fast. Let's go.
I want to know what type of training he used while fast. You know, I want to try 3 days fasting, no food, no water. My mom can do it. She's 78. She did it with her church friend.
Extraction that came from a young person. Did you get the whole cast of Ocean's 8 to do
Not
this?
everybody, just those that I thought would appreciate it.
Okay, explain what it is.
One forces through microneedling. Some of you, I think many of you know it. And it pushes through the skin and ruptures the collagen, and then boosts it. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes. The
What are you
serum.
pushing into the skin, Sarah,
Serum.
Sandra?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction that came from a young person, far, far away, and they somehow
Far,
figured out
far
how to
away.
extract.
Who thinks of collecting it?
When you see how good it is to your face, you too will run to your local facialist.
No, I don't even understand why that is a thing that you'd put that into your skin.
Going straight to hell.
Yeah.
Straight to hell.
Yeah. I'm not. I didn't do it. You are. It's foreskin from a Korean baby.
Wow. Adrenochrome. It comes from the extreme fear response of very young children and babies. These people are sick.
Something they're not telling us that is so gnarly that they don't think people can handle it.
There are, different scenarios you could explore. For example, you ask what could be so terrible that they can't tell us about it. Let's say these aliens, wherever they're from, made us, that we're a genetic experiment, that they created our religions, our religious figures, that we are an agricultural product, that somehow they harvest us, that our time is limited, that once the experiment's over, poof, we go away. I remember when there was a push back to have a designer universe, intelligent design universe in the schools, and I wrote a column about it and just said, hey, be careful what you wish for, because you might find out that the intelligent designer isn't God that you're thinking of. It might be some alien science project or something like that. That you can imagine a lot of different things that would be really disturbing to people to come out. I don't know if that's the reason for the secrecy. I suspect it has a lot more to do with national security, us not wanting Russians and Chinese to know how far down the road we are.
If they are keeping something from us, I'm confident it's not to protect us. It is to empower themselves. Florida. They are headed for Cuba, and Cuba is not Florida. The man is called Kirov and is part of a study called the Kirov murder. Kirov was gaining a popularity in Moscow during the height of Stalin's terror tactics. Look at that. Problem is, everybody believes the Simpsons prediction, except for the firmament.
I put me a magnet in the water, people. And it created space. Look at that. The magnet didn't freeze. It created its own space inside of the ice.
For some people, it's easier to believe the lie than to know the truth. Ignorance is blissful.
My shower video showing that you absorb more chlorine from showering than you even do drinking chlorinated water. And I had some doubters. My friend Gary Brecka said, Dan, you got to do this test to show how fast you actually absorb chlorine. And yes, it affects the thyroid immediately. You're going to want to share this with your friends. This is chlorinated water, and this is a chlorine test that we're going to compare this white one right here with this scale. You can see right now it's measuring 0. Okay, in the water for 2 seconds. Already it's turned dark, so this is safe to swim in, as you can see across the scale. Here's another brand new strip, perfectly white. Hand goes in the water. When I did this, I thought, okay, you probably have to keep it in there for at least 10 minutes, like a shower. Not the case. Keep it in for about 30 seconds. Your body's absorbing this chlorine and it's going directly into the bloodstream.
Ooh.
Chlorine is a halogen type of chemical. Oh, and by the way, bromine, they also put in pools and hot tubs. Bromine is also a halogen chemical, basically interferes with thyroid hormone. Okay, now let's do a retest. You saw that was just about 30 seconds. There's 2 seconds according to the directions. Pure white. Look at that, pure white. Absorbed all of the chlorine in that glass of chlorinated water. It's real. You absorb the chlorine, it affects your hormones and thyroid. Debate over.
I guess we aren't going to take showers anymore?
Chipotle is now refusing to serve people who ask for more portions.
Oh, and I will. What's your name?
So after the whole internet complaining recently about all the changes that have happened at Chipotle and people starting a trend to get bigger portions by taking their phone out in store, Chipotle workers are now fed up and they're refusing to give anyone good portions, especially when you walk in with your phone out. And even though taking your phone out worked for most people and they were able to get decent portions, after the CEO finding out about this saying he's not happy with this trend, the Chipotle workers seem to be fed up because every single day they have to deal with people recording, asking for more portions, or even walking out. And in this case, a woman asked for more chicken, but the Chipotle employee gave her a bad attitude and refused to serve her.
Okay, and go get your manager. I am the manager. Oh, well, go get whoever over top of you, because it's somebody over top of you. It's somebody over top of you. And you in.
Many people who also work at Chipotle have stated that if you come in the store looking for bigger portions, they're going to refuse to serve you or ask you to walk out. Meanwhile, Chipotle refuses to acknowledge that they've had any changes at all.
Changes, okay. Maybe. But people be expecting the whole bowl to be overflowing without paying extra. But let me hear your take in the comment.
Just in, amid everything that is going on with the United States, NATO, Ukraine, and Russia, China has just issued a warning, a statement to the United States, and it is a nuclear warning. Articles coming out on this literally in the last 24 hours, this one coming out today, which states China has issued a nuclear statement to the U.S. And as I mentioned, this is directly tied to everything that's happening with Russia. China has now accused the United States of undermining nuclear disarmament and said that they should reflect on their behavior regarding non-proliferation. China accusing the United States of having bad behavior regarding what is going on with potential nuclear war. The criticism by the Chinese embassy in the United States was in response to a senior White House aide that Washington may have to deploy more strategic nuclear weapons in the future to deter threats of Russia and China and other adversaries. So China vocalizing their disapproval to the United States, allowing weapons to be used by Ukraine against Russia, and China, we heard, saying, do not take lightly the threats that are coming from Russia. I've shared with you in the past 48 hours that we've heard that there are actually warships, submarines that are nuclear capable from Russia coming towards the U.S. coast. They're going to be docking in Cuba, just 90 miles from the United States. And just in the last 24 hours as well, we've heard statements coming out from Russian President Vladimir Putin that he will be providing missiles in various locations that have the capability of hitting the United States, and he is arming the adversaries of the United States. And we have additional confirmation coming out on this as well, as a new article comes out today that reads, North Korea, China, Russia, they are expanding their nuclear arsenals at this time at a breakneck pace. This coming out according to White House officials in just the last 24 hours. As I mentioned, this article just coming out this morning, and it reads, North Korea, China, and Russia, they are expanding and diversifying their nuclear weapons stockpile at a breakneck speed, a White House official said on Friday, warning that the absence of change in the trajectory of their arsenals, the United States may have to increase its own pace, because right now we're hearing that Russia has warned they're going to be supplying additional missiles and weaponry to the adversaries of the United States, and it looks like they're doing just that. And we saw a fleet of potential nuclear vessels going towards Cuba. They're going to be going there from Russia, and Cuba and Russia both saying to the United States, don't worry, even though these have nuclear capabilities, we're just going to be running drills and tests. None of them are armed with any nuclear weapons that you need to worry about. And many people saying this sounds exactly like what unfolded 2 years ago when Russia began doing drills and exercises along the border of Ukraine. And then suddenly it became a war. And now we're beginning to see these vessels making their way along towards the...
I think the leaders from both sides need to just duke it out in the ring and leave the citizens alone.
AI to recreate the entire Simpsons universe as if it was live action, and it actually made like a complete video. Like, look at this. So it starts with like the outside view of Springfield.
Oh my gosh, this is the house.
That's the house.
Oh my gosh!
It made a live action Homer.
Yes, Homer.
5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah. Marge.
Marge's hair. That looks like Marge.
Dude, this is all AI.
Oh my gosh.
There's Bart. Got the spiky hair.
Lisa.
The haircuts are pretty on point.
Yeah, it is.
My goodness, this is good.
Oh my gosh.
Right, they got like the binky.
Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns. That looks like
that is freaky. There's Moe's. Dude, it's crazy how AI was able to make all this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Ned Flanders.
Yes, sir.
The legend.
Oh my, it's crazy.
He's like, hello neighbor.
Krusty. Dude, okay, Krusty looks scary.
Yeah, Krusty is scary. I never thought about that, but yeah.
It's so
Millhouse. What a stud.
Isn't it? It made the entire universe. This is all just AI generated.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Serial killer.
Krusty.
They did it all.
It does look amazing.
I'm down to watch a full AI movie of The Simpsons. Don't go anywhere because we still have fire clips after fire clips back to back.
$5 on your morning coffee on the way to work, $15 on a nice lunch from the food truck, $4 on overpriced transport, $2 on a sweet treat, and $1.40 on unwanted subscriptions. And that's the same as spending $10,000 every single year. Instead, you could brew your coffee at home for 50 cents, travel more economically for half the price, make a packed lunch for $4.50, go without the sweet treat, and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, which will save you $7,810 every year. Then if you invest that money in a low-cost index fund with an average return of 8% per year, in 30 years, you'd have over $1 million.
Don't learn how to spend less. Instead, learn how you can make more.
You to work forever. It's the greatest illusion of all time. Shout out to the guys that created fiat. Geniuses, bro. We're more peasants than the peasants were back in the day. The peasants only worked about 140 days out of the year. The rest of the year, they kind of fucked off and did whatever they want. Today, people work 50 weeks out of 52 weeks for the next 60 years, thinking that that's the norm. If you were in, let's say, cycle of 400 years of slavery, and you were born in year 212 of that 400-year cycle of slavery, you would have no concept of what freedom is. That's where we are today. Fiat has created an illusion. Yeah, you might have Netflix, you might have a couple of things here and there, but when it's all said and done, you're not working for yourself. Would kill God.
On top of that, they tax you 1/3 of your income. That means 4 out of 12 months you work for literally free. You don't see a penny of that.
If he could, but he can't. So he kills babies because he knows it wounds the heart of the father. Absolutely. And causes chaos on the earth. You see, abortion is actually the sacrament of Satan. Because abortion says you must die so I can live. But Christ says, no, I must die so you can live. And chooses to enter human history in a uterus of all locations to redeem mankind from their sins. This is why Peter Kraft, the Catholic philosopher, is still alive today. And he said, don't you know, church, abortion is the demonic parody of the Eucharist. That's why it uses the same holy words. This is my body, but with the opposite blasphemous meaning. Do you think it's a coincidence that the central phrase of the entire abortion industrial complex and the culture of death today are the same words of our Savior at the First Communion? This is my body.
Yeah. I need to memorize this so when I defend abortion, people will understand, hopefully. This is such a great explanation.
You can pee on the street completely legally, but there's a catch. This is only allowed when you're in Amsterdam. These are the street urinals of Amsterdam, designated for men only. They look like newspaper stands and are often mistaken for tourist attractions. The top of these urinals is open, allowing passers-by to see if they're in use. And yes, they can see your face too. Inside, there's no water system, just a drain. So they're typically placed near rivers or canals for easy disposal. For cleanliness, they're regularly hosed down by sanitation workers, and rain helps keep them clean too. These urinals primarily serve tourists in urgent need, as they're conspicuous, convenient, and easy to find. Plus, they provide a safety net for intoxicated individuals who might otherwise end up in the water while relieving themselves along the river. Would you consider using one of these facilities?
I can smell it from here. Why not just put a toilet there?
Your favorite sports to watch?
I don't watch any sports because I think sports is a distraction. You should, instead of watching sports, you should go and play sports. Sports was a distraction invented by the Romans.
Really?
Yes, because they wanted people to watch gladiators in the Colosseum as a distraction from the main thing what the Roman emperors were doing.
So today you're not watching India versus Pakistan, you're not watching it?
India versus Pakistan I will watch.
So that is not a distraction.
Brother, why you want to argue? India, one match here and there is okay, you can watch. If you are watching it for fun, then watch.
Brother, what do you want to argue?
Cursing for cursing, because when you curse, it comes right back on you automatically, because what you've done, you open the door.
When it came to curses, Kelly didn't hesitate to use them, even on his own friends.
The Davis brothers went to a revival meeting, and we were friends, and I didn't like the idea that they went to church, because after all I've been through, the church was an enemy. people in the church were weak, and to me, I thought they were weak and cowards and wouldn't fight, and that's how we were in the street. So when I saw them, I felt like they were abandoning us, the rest of us, to go on chasing after this Jesus thing. And when I would see them come back, and they would minister to a lot of our other friends because they were excited about being saved, and they would tell the rest of the guys, saying, you need to stop these drugs and stuff and come and get saved. Well, if they get saved, I lose a lot of customers. I said, I'm gonna send some curses after them, some spirits to curse them, to stop them, slow them down. And so these little spirits, I called them up. They came up out of the ground, and I told them, I said, I'm sending you over here, and I want you to go over there and stop these guys. A warning, I'm giving them a warning. I want you to terrorize them, torment them, night and day, 24 hours a day, till they come back out here in the streets with us. So I sent this little one about so big. He went over there, and he came back, and he says, I can't do nothing to them, they're protected. And I told that spirit, I said, what did I tell you to do? I told you to go destroy them. He went out again. And it came back and said, I told you, I can't touch them, they're protected. So I said, get out of here. I sent him and you back down to the floor where you come from. So another one, I sent a bigger one this time, a little bigger than about that size. And I said, now you go and do what that other one, he didn't do. I said, you go and destroy them. You go, you tear everything up, you tear their house up, you tear their mama up, you tear their cars up, set the house on fire with them in it. Do everything I tell you to do. You better not fail. So that spirit disappeared and it went. Then I waited for a few days, and that spirit came back with a sad look on his face. And I said, did you do what I told you to do? He said, I can't touch them. Just like the other one told you, we can't touch them, they're protected. And I got mad at him, I brushed him off. Then I astral projected out of my body, left my body at one place, then I went into another place. And when I got there, I found exactly what it was, like a snap of a finger. And when I got there, there was two 8-foot tall angels with a flaming sword.
Ooh.
They looked like they had been working out in the gym. They was tough. And I stood around the back of a telephone pole and I peeked out at them. I said, man, I see why them little imps couldn't do nothing. Wow. Then I went back into myself. Man, these guys, wow. They got some serious power, man. My God, they got some power behind them.
No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
When new hires get paid more, top performers resign first.
Yup, this is true, and let me tell you why companies will never change. I learned this from my HR and recruitment experience. Companies will always have more budget to attract new talent versus rewarding the talent that's already there. And I think there's two main reasons for this. Number one, market value, what they think talent is worth, applies to exterior talent, but not their own talent. Because for their own talent, they already have their own scale based off people's experience, teams, relevant experience, all of that. While for someone new, they know they're competing with other companies that want the same talent. So they have to pay top dollar to attract this person. The second reason, I think companies and hiring managers fall into the grass is greener syndrome here. They think that if they hire someone great, that they can exponentially grow, they can grow their revenue, and that if someone could do it internally, they would have done it already. So you can use this information to your advantage. If you want to get paid, the best way to do that is to job hop strategically. Good luck.
I'm convinced some companies use this as a strategy to get top performers to leave, so that they don't have to offer them a
in Oklahoma managed to fend off 2 coyotes in order to save her best friend, and her bravery was all captured on a security camera. Binks the cat was originally a stray, but she started calling Lane Dyer's house home when she was only a couple months old. Since then, she and her dog sibling Oakley have really bonded, and apparently Binks will do anything for a member of her family. One evening, when Lane let Oakley out in the backyard, just like he always does, a coyote suddenly came after her, and a moment later a second coyote joined joined. At the time, Binks was lounging on the patio furniture by the entrance to the house, and she was not about to let anything happen to Oakley on her watch. She sprinted towards Oakley with no fear for her own safety, and managed to spook the coyotes enough that they ran away. After she successfully ran them off, both Binks and Oakley were able to go right back to the house. Oakley was taken straight to the vet where she was treated for some injuries to her leg, but she healed completely and she's now good as new, all thanks to her selfless and brave best friend Binks. Their story is a great reminder to always go outside with your pets if you do live in an area with any potential predators. I'm Jen and I post something positive every day.
Black cats are a force to be reckoned with. I'm not surprised those coyotes ran in fear, even though they normally go after a cat. Binks had no fear.
Ananı avradını, şu karizmaya bakın. Kimileri onlara şeytan dedi. Kimileri ise onların melek olduğuna inandı. Fakat onlar birer.
He knows something we don't.
You couldn't ask for a better example of how babies are not just small adults. You're witnessing the Babinski reflex, the fanning out of the toes as you stroke the side of the foot and come across. In babies up till 2 years of age, this is completely normal what you're seeing. In adults though, this is a warning sign for serious neurological disease.
Most people don't know that there was a plan to make an inland sea in Australia, but how would that even work? Most of Australia's interior is dominated by a vast desert, which has made it sparsely populated. So one proposed solution to this problem was to turn the center of Australia into an inland sea. This would start by sealing off the Tully River and channeling it through a series of rivers and dams until it reached southern Australia, where it would flow into Lake Erie. Over time, this diverted water would eventually fill up this entire area. This new body of water would alter the environmental cycle, turning it from desert into Greenland. The project would have generated massive amounts of electricity for Australia, but in today's money would have cost around $300 billion. However, this plan was not actually completed due to its questionable effectiveness. So that's why
There's gonna be a huge environmental issue.
This is a $140 million mansion in Bel Air. A car lift system in your basement. The car comes down from the top into your basement. 33 degrees. It is an ice bar. This is unbelievable. A spa over here. They've even got a rock climbing wall. I mean, come on. You start by picking up your popcorn and your candy. Here is your private cinema. Your incredible master suite with this view.
Nice.
Look at the size of this shower.
There's another room. I'm curious about the electricity bill every month, and how much does it cost to maintain it?
Hey you guys, so apparently there was a family that was cruising around the world and an NCL passenger in the Atlantic was able to capture this ghost ship. The family has been lost for about a year and a half. User Courtney.Writes spoke about it last year on TikTok. Check this out. They started in the Pacific, San Diego to be exact, I believe.
3 Americans are currently lost at sea somewhere between Mazatlan, Mexico and San Diego, California. Carrie and Frank O'Brien and William Gross were last heard from on April 4th. That was 13 days ago. They set sail on this boat. There's something about this boat that is just kind of giving me the EBGBs.
Oh my goodness. Thank you to everyone who tagged me in this ghost ship video right here. Long story short, I posted a video about a year ago about 3 sailors who went missing. They went missing on a boat that looked very similar to this one here. And today, on that video, people have been commenting, oh my goodness, I think I saw this boat in this ghost ship video. I asked people to tag me and I just saw it right now. Like you, I think this could be it. I do think it's possible you have found it. And there are people saying that, well, it's been a year, but it's been a year and these people haven't been found. Just do a quick search of those who went missing: Carrie O'Brien, Frank O'Brien, and William Gross. The news stopped reporting on them in about April 2023. The search was called off when they couldn't find anything. Like, just looking at this, like you, how could it not be it? Almost a year ago today. I know a year is a long time, but can you imagine if it is their boat and the type of closure this could bring the people that have been missing them for so long?
I have seen a couple of these videos with this sailboat. My question is, why hasn't anyone checked inside? And why is this sailboat still floating around at the sea?
Just for shiggles, let's talk about how the Vatican is hiding a time-traveling device from us. It's called a chronovisor, and it was developed in the 1960s by this gentleman in the middle, Father Ernetti, and these two other guys who ended up working for NASA. This guy over here just happened to be a Nazi before he went to NASA, but we'll talk about that later. In the 1970s, Father Ernetti took a boat ride, and he happened to be on the boat with another priest. They got to gabbing, and Father Ernetti spilled the beans about the chronovisor. He said it was very real how he had went back in time, and he had witnessed the crucifixion of Christ. He had witnessed the last few days of Christ. He had witnessed the final supper. He had witnessed the fall of Sodom and Gomorrah. Very heavy claims, right? Father Ernetti had proof, though. He provided the blueprints for it and told him exactly how it worked. Now, reportedly, this device had several antennas that would pick up on light and sound waves throughout multiple frequencies, would translate these frequencies into a screen that would show a past event, a present event, or a future event. Now, in the wrong hands, think about how powerful that could be. You can witness anybody at any time, at any point. Now, of course, this was all supposed to be a secret, because seeing anybody you want at any point in time is pretty dangerous in the wrong hands. So Vatican told Father Ernetti and everyone else involved, do not speak of this. It took Father Ernetti 10 years before he had this boat conversation to tell anyone about it. And then in 1988, the Vatican released a decree stating anyone found to be using a device like the chronovisor would be excommunicated from the church. 2002, the man that took the boat ride with Father Ernetti released a tell-all book about the chronovisor and went to his deathbed believing in the chronovisor. Now, we all know the Vatican has their Chamber of Secrets. The rumor is that this is locked in the Chamber of Secrets.
To my understanding, it's not a time travel device. It's a selective time point viewing device.
Know how difficult it is to assassinate Russian President Putin? His vehicle, an Oris independently researched and produced by Russia, costing up to $190 million US, there is only one in the world. Also known as the Rolls-Royce of the fighting nation, even if it passes through a bomb trap set by the enemy, the vehicle is still intact. Even if a villain shoots with a sniper rifle, bullets hitting the glass can only scratch it. In addition, there is a motorcade responsible for defense before and after Putin's travels. Even if villains lay obstacles on the road, the bulldozer at the front of the convoy can shovel hard stone piers clean. At the same time, the motorcade is also equipped with a complete defense system. Even if armed men attack in groups, they will be wiped out in minutes. If a missile targets the vehicle, the interference system on the car can also change the direction of the missile's flight, reflecting it back. Follow me. The next video explains how strong the U.S. president's defense system is.
No one can beat that. And that sounds too good to be true.
Lost. Lost? What do you mean?
A whole different level of airport. It's fascinating to watch.
Very big is about to happen, and we better be paying attention to it. And there are like 5 huge news developments that we need to cover today, which have massive implications for Western powers. And I'm going to show you something also that's very, very strange that NATO just did, which no mainstream media are covering right now, and it's very concerning. But first, let's start with something that's coming to the Western Hemisphere. On Friday, Russian President Putin started sending a massive armada of battleships headed right for Cuba, right off of Florida's coast.
Several Russian warships are on their way to Cuba this morning. That happened back in the 1960s, the Cuban Missile Crisis. It was just a little thing. Comes days after a warning from Vladimir Putin that Russia could provide weapons to actors that would then attack Western targets over those countries' support of Ukraine.
Early this coming week, if you're standing in Key West, Florida, using your binoculars, you will likely see something that looks like this. Yes, Russian warships performing massive military training exercises, docking in Havana Harbor, right in our backyard. How the hell did this happen? Incompetence, failure on the part of America's leadership is how it happened, that we are sitting now on the brink of another Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah, nuclear-powered Russian submarines, destroyers with cruise missiles that can easily attack American cities, and warships that make our Navy ships seem old just by modern standards. Just look at this map.
This is Havana, where the Russian fleet will be docking. And this is Miami, the closest American city. The air distance between Havana and Miami is barely 366 kilometers. Zircon, like we told you, can travel up to 1,000 kilometers, meaning it can strike as far as South Carolina.
You probably haven't seen this on the news in the United States at all because they don't want you to know about it. Just like commenter Denise says right here, what's so crazy here in the United States? None of this is in the news. Yes, Denise, exactly, Denise, because they are hiding it. Wait until you see what else they're hiding.
So the USA can be in Ukraine, but shocking to see Russian ships in Cuba.
You're trapped in a burning building. You could strap into a high-rise parachute safety system and position yourself at a window. Then just fall out and quickly pull the cord to activate the system. This will inflate the mechanism, which will propel you safely away from the building. The device will work like a parachute, ensuring a controlled and safe descent to the ground.
Ah, thank goodness. Good thing I have a high-rise parachute just laying around the office.
Check this out. This is a hydrogen hypercar coming out of France, the Alpenglow High 4. Hydrogen, 4 cylinders. These headlights, it's called cosmic dust. You see how it kind of trickles away? Look at that. Suspension horizontal, you have a line going right down the middle, glowing red. French flag. Open this up. Gonna hop inside in just a second, but take a look at the shape of this car.
Ugly.
Transparent spoiler, and I think that the best angle of this car is from the back. Look at the taillights. So you're gonna see a lot of blue and white details representing ice and water, and then the glow, the Alpenglow, comes from the morning glow of the sunrise in the Alps. Jumping inside, so slide to race, like that, and then yes, oh yeah, you actually do slide pretty easily. All right, there you go. First time ever on a public road.
For the price, you don't even get a door, and it looks as basic, as comfortable as a shed inside.
This is the fastest cashier I know. And he gets down. He don't play.
Oh my goodness. She wouldn't be called a cashier. She's a 10-key specialist.
Because I'm going to show you even more down the line. Okay. Now this is the new guy now. No, the one that died before her. Look at the other king. Both bow down to the real king. Why? Ask yourself why the crown of London come and bow down to the real king. Why? There's both of them there. There's the queen and the king. Both bow down to the real king. Why? They know the truth. There's the difference between me and you and them and us. We on the outside, we see things the way Hollywood make us see it. And the propaganda is so strong to us,
We thinking that everything goes the way we see it. Oh, she's the queen, man. Look how they running stuff. Yeah, she can do. No. When it comes to these folks, when it comes to these circles, these families, there's hierarchies. They know who to deal with, how to deal with. Selassie is the descendant of the Medicis, the real power. Okay? Selassie is the descendant of the Yeshua, the people that bring religion into play. Because Wu still have the publishing of the Bible. The Queen from Wu, King Henry, passing it down to King James. So this is where she knows she comes from. These people. That's why she's following protocol to bow down to real power. Okay? This is the truth. Now let me show you even more so you understand what you are witness here. Okay? What you're witness here, they are cousins. Selassie and Queen Elizabeth are cousins. When you heard about Mussolini was going to war with Selassie, it was because they try to retrieve artifacts that still stay intact in Ethiopia. To be exact, they were trying to get the oldest Bible in many.
Only question is, him being the real king, why would he let them do what they have done to his race? Alright folks, I'm going to end our video with this coming clip. Be kind to each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and don't forget to like or dislike so I can make better content. Thank you for staying till the end. There's a free gift below if you like. Thank you for watching. Have a prosperous day, and God bless.
Hello. Hola, Hello.